Did you know that as of this year, over 100 countries and territories require some form of advanced visa just to enter? That's right, gone are the days of carefree globetrotting. We live in an increasingly complex world, and navigating its borders is no exception, especially if you're Canadian. Now, before you fire up the comment section with cries of "but everyone loves Canadians," let me assure you, that might not always be the case. We here at Taxi TV understand the allure of a good passport stamp, the thrill of exploring the unknown. But we also believe in being prepared. So buckle up, because in this video, we're diving headfirst into a topic that might just make you spit out your maple syrup, the countries where Canadians might find themselves less than welcome in 2024. This isn't about fear-mongering, it's about arming you, dear viewers, with the information you need to make informed travel decisions. Because let's be honest, nobody wants to end up on the wrong side of a border patrol agent who clearly skipped their daily dose of politeness. Let's start with the obvious, shall we? North Korea, land of mystery, intrigue, and, well, not a whole lot of Canadian tourists. The Democratic People's Republic of Korea, as it formally calls itself, isn't exactly known for its open-door policy. In fact, it's closer to a door bolted shut, windows boarded up, and we've got a very territorial guard dog kind of policy. Tourism to North Korea is possible, but it's heavily restricted and requires booking through specific state-sanctioned tour operators. And even then, don't expect to be wandering off the beaten path, snapping selfies with statues of the Supreme Leader. Every step you take will be monitored, every interaction scrutinized. Now, you might be thinking, John, I'm not trying to defect, I just want to see the sights. Well, friend, that's adorable. But even seemingly innocuous actions like taking photos of the wrong building or criticizing the regime can land you in hot water hotter than a bowl of Pyongyang noodles. So, unless you've got a burning desire to experience life inside one of the world's most isolated nations, maybe give North Korea a miss this year, or, ever. Next up, we journey to the stunning peaks of the Himalayas, to the Kingdom of Bhutan. Known for its breathtaking landscapes, vibrant culture, and commitment to gross national happiness, Bhutan is a dream destination for many. But here's the catch. Bhutan practices high-value, low-impact tourism. What does that mean for you, our intrepid Canadian traveler? It means a hefty daily tariff, my friend. Think hundreds of dollars per day, covering accommodation, meals, transportation, and a sustainable tourism fee. The idea is to limit the number of tourists and ensure the benefits of tourism reach local communities. Now, before you start grumbling about exorbitant fees, consider this. Bhutan is serious about preserving its environment and cultural heritage. And let's be honest, wouldn't you rather pay a premium to experience this pristine paradise than see it overrun with selfie sticks and souvenir shops? So while Bhutan might not technically ban Canadians outright, its unique tourism policy acts as a velvet rope, filtering out those who aren't willing to, shall we say, pay the price of paradise. From the Himalayas, we descend into Central Asia to the enigmatic nation of Turkmenistan, home to the Karakum Desert, ancient Silk Road cities, and a giant flaming crater aptly named the Door to Hell. Turkmenistan has a certain offbeat appeal, but getting in? Well, that's a different story altogether. Turkmenistan is notoriously difficult to enter, with tourist visas notoriously hard to come by. The reasons are murky, shrouded in the same veil of secrecy that seems to envelop much of the country's inner workings. Some speculate it's to control the narrative, to limit outside scrutiny of its human rights record. Others suggest it's simply a matter of bureaucratic inefficiency. Whatever the reason, the result is the same. A country that's largely off-limits to casual travelers. So, unless you've got the patience of a saint, the persistence of a bloodhound, and a healthy dose of luck, your chances of crossing Turkmenistan off your travel bucket list anytime soon are, well, let's just say slim to none. Our next stop takes us to the heart of Africa, to the small but oil-rich nation of Equatorial Guinea. Blessed with stunning beaches, lush rainforests, and a unique blend of Spanish and African cultures, Equatorial Guinea has the potential to be a tourist hotspot. However, a history of political instability, human rights concerns, and a government that's notoriously wary of foreigners have kept tourism firmly in check. Visas are notoriously difficult to obtain, often requiring a letter of invitation from a sponsoring company or organization within the country. Even if you do manage to snag that coveted visa, don't expect an easy ride. Photography restrictions abound, especially around government buildings and military installations, and expressing any form of dissent or criticism of the government is strongly discouraged. So, while Equatorial Guinea might hold a certain allure for the adventurous traveler, its current political climate and bureaucratic hurdles make it a destination best left for another time. From Equatorial Guinea, we travel north to the Horn of Africa, to the nation of Eritrea. Bordered by Ethiopia, Sudan, and Djibouti, Eritrea boasts a diverse landscape of mountains, deserts, and a long coastline along the Red Sea. But despite its tourism potential, Eritrea remains one of the world's most isolated and secretive countries. Often dubbed the North Korea of Africa, Eritrea has been ruled by the same authoritarian regime since its independence in 1993. Tourism is tightly controlled, with visas rarely granted to independent travelers. Those who do manage to enter the country are often subject to strict surveillance, restricted movement, and arbitrary detention. So, unless you've got a burning desire to experience life under one of the world's most repressive regimes, it's probably best to steer clear of Eritrea for the time being. Our journey now takes us to the Arabian Peninsula, to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, home to Islam's holiest sites, vast deserts, and a rapidly modernizing society. Saudi Arabia has been making headlines in recent years for its efforts to open up to tourism. However, while the country has made significant strides in easing visa restrictions for citizens of many countries, Canadians are still subject to a more stringent application process. Tourism visas are available, but they require a higher level of documentation, including proof of accommodation, travel itinerary, and financial stability. Moreover, it's important to remember that Saudi Arabia is a deeply conservative country, guided by Islamic law. Visitors are expected to dress modestly, alcohol is strictly prohibited, and public displays of affection are frowned upon. So while Saudi Arabia is slowly opening its doors to the world, Canadians still face some hurdles in accessing this fascinating and complex country. Chapter 7. From the Arabian Peninsula we head north to Iran, a land of ancient history, vibrant culture, and unfortunately some rather complicated geopolitics. Home to the ruins of Persepolis, the stunning mosques of Isfahan, and the bustling bazaars of Tehran, Iran has a lot to offer the intrepid traveler. However, Canadians, along with citizens of several other Western countries, face a unique set of challenges when it comes to visiting Iran. While tourist visas are generally obtainable, the application process can be lengthy and unpredictable. Moreover, Canadians are required to travel with a registered tour guide for the entirety of their stay in Iran. This means no solo backpacking adventures or spontaneous detours. You'll be on a carefully curated itinerary, experiencing the country through the lens of your designated guide. So, while Iran is undoubtedly a fascinating and rewarding destination, its current political climate and visa restrictions make it a more challenging, albeit not impossible, destination for Canadians. Chapter 8. Somalia, a land in recovery. Our journey now takes us to the Horn of Africa, to the nation of Somalia. Ravaged by decades of civil war, famine, and political instability, Somalia is a country slowly emerging from the ashes. While it boasts a beautiful coastline, ancient ruins, and a rich cultural heritage, Somalia remains a high-risk destination for travelers. The Canadian government strongly advises against all travel to Somalia, citing the threat of terrorism, kidnapping, and violent crime. Large parts of the country remain under the control of armed groups, and infrastructure is limited at best. While there have been some efforts to promote tourism in the autonomous region of Somaliland, the security situation remains fragile, and obtaining a visa can be extremely difficult. So for now, it's best to admire Somalia's beauty from afar and hope for a more peaceful and prosperous future for this troubled nation. Chapter 9. Central African Republic, beauty marred by conflict. Our penultimate stop takes us to the heart of Africa, to the Central African Republic. Home to dense rainforests, diverse wildlife, and a rich cultural tapestry, the Central African Republic holds immense tourism potential. However, years of civil war, sectarian violence and political instability have left the country devastated and unsafe for travel. The Canadian government advises against all travel to the Central African Republic, citing the high risk of armed conflict, banditry, and kidnapping. While there have been some efforts to promote peace and reconciliation, the security situation remains extremely volatile, and infrastructure is virtually non-existent in many parts of the country. So for now, it's best to keep the Central African Republic on your travel wish list for a time when peace and stability have been restored. Chapter 10. Yemen, a nation in crisis. Our final stop takes us to the southern tip of the Arabian Peninsula, to the Republic of Yemen. Once a major center of trade and culture, Yemen has been embroiled in a brutal civil war since 2014, leaving the country in ruins and its people facing a humanitarian catastrophe. The Canadian government strongly advises against all travel to Yemen, citing the extremely high risk of terrorism, kidnapping, and armed conflict. The country is effectively divided, with various factions vying for control, and airstrikes, shelling, and ground fighting are commonplace. While Yemen boasts stunning architecture, ancient cities, and breathtaking landscapes, it's a destination that's simply too dangerous to visit at present. Let's hope that one day, peace will return to this troubled land, allowing travelers to once again experience its unique beauty and rich cultural heritage. Look, I get it. It's disheartening to see a list of countries and know that your ability to experience them is, shall we say, compromised. But this isn't about discouraging travel. It's about acknowledging the realities of a complex world and encouraging responsible exploration. Just because you get a visa to certain places doesn't mean you. The world is full of incredible destinations that are more than happy to welcome Canadians with open arms and reasonably efficient visa processes. So before you book your next trip, do your research. Check travel advisories, understand visa requirements, and consider the ethical implications of your travel choices. Because at the end of the day, being an informed and responsible traveler is far more rewarding than any stamp in your passport. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a very strong urge to go hug a moose and apologize for something I didn't do. Just, to reaffirm my Canadianness.